right, the public's been clamoring for it, so we're back. OG Gambling Syndicate. We have picks for the Wells Fargo Championship down at Quail Hollow down in Charlotte. I'm Joe Giglio, joined as always by Josh Goodson from RTP Mortgage and Bennett Johnson, Heaster Automotive Group. Heaster Automotive Group hotline. Here we are. You can not only buy cars at the Heaster Automotive Group, you could sell yours. Do what I did. Sold my Honda Fit, my 2013 Fit, to my friends at the Heaster Automotive Group. You can check them out, HeasterAuto.com. All right, guys. A little bit of a break because the PGA Tour took a little bit of a break since the Masters, but we're now back.
The PGA Tour's been boring?
There's been that, yes. If you haven't been paying attention, or they've been off-site, or we got Ben Coles missing very makeable putts that would have at least had a playoff. Instead, Taylor Pendrith, one of our favorites, won at a TPC course in Texas last week. So we're here on more familiar places, Quail Hollow. The definition of a bomber's course to me, par 71. And we also have a dual event in Myrtle Beach, the Dirty Myrtle, getting their own PGA Tour event. So we'll have some first round leaders for that. If you're new here to the OG Gambling Syndicate, our official gambling partner is DraftKings. Use that promo code OG24. Get yourself some $200 in bonus bets if you haven't already. I'm not sure what you're waiting for, but again, use that promo code OG24 on DraftKings, DraftKings.com, and the DraftKings app. All right, let's start in Quail Hollow. Let's start in Charlotte, Josh, and you are the maestro of first round leader bets. This is a signature event, so this is a smaller field. Looking at the weather in Charlotte, shocker, we have potential thunderstorms both Wednesday and Thursday. Since it is a truncated field, though, the first tee time is not till 11 a.m. So it does feel like it could be a soft track. And this is a really good field. It is a field missing the number one overall player in the world, though. So maybe some other people can have a little bit of oxygen here at the Wells Fargo Championship.
So I think I found 10 plays that I like, starting out with Akshay, 40 to 1. I would assume, given him being from North Carolina, has had the chance to play Quail Hollow probably as many times as he's wanted to. Birdie Fest, I think, will be happening tomorrow with the soft conditions. I think he's sitting at 40 to 1 tomorrow. At least that's what it was.
45 to 1 on DraftKings as of Wednesday morning.
Also, a guy who's been playing really, really well recently, Alex Noren. Value-wise, he's on the same screen, 40 to 1.
41. Yep.
Keep going down. Another guy with North Carolina ties. The Postman, JT Poston, 45 to 1. Corey Connors. You'll like this one, Bennett. This was I saw some data, and I'm going to trust the data. Evidently, this is the course. Tell me if I'm wrong, but it's the most mid to long iron approaches on the tour or something like that. Did I get that right?
Second
most. Mm-hmm. And Corey Connors shows out his stats are pretty good in that, in that environment of long to mid iron. So I like Corey Connors at 45 to 1. Tom Kim, I think he's 55 to 1. He played really, really well there at the President's Cup. That's kind of when he came on the scene a couple years ago. Guys who have played well before at courses, that usually translates to them doing it again at the same place. And then I think I had 4 or 5 more. Jake Knapp. The dude he just keeps showing up. And we saw last week he could play in an environment where you got to make a bunch of birdies. I mean, I think the final score was in the 20s last week. He's won this year. He's definitely not afraid, but 55 to 1 is where he's at. Brendan Todd was a little bit further down. This was just strictly he's been playing okay, but he's also from the area to an extent. North Carolina guy. Nick Dunlap, 80 to 1. And then 2 more. I had Adam Svensson, 90 to 1, and Grayson was my last one. Grayson, North Carolina guy. He's not played well recently. I think maybe he got fat and happy back in the winter, but he's played there before, I would imagine. And 90 to 1, I think, is pretty good value. Again, I don't know if I would take Grayson on any other week, even if his odds were higher. like a 150 person week, but if you're just having to beat 60 guys, let's take a stab at it at 90 to 1. So those are my
All right,
plays.
so I can add to this list. Nick Dunlap, one of the leading scorers on par fives on the tour.
Okay.
He's one of my picks. I said this is a bomber's course. You don't get much more bomby than Cam Davis.
Okay.
55 to 1. I also have him. Slightly surprised you don't have Patrick Rogers, another one of those guys who plays well on longer courses. And the other one is the guy who's been red hot, just hasn't won yet. Beniana, Ben
Ooh.
On. He's actually looks like one of the favorites here. If I can find him.
35 to 1. 35 to 1.
Yeah. They don't call him Ben. They call him by his birth name there. 35 to 1. So those are the other players that I have for first round leaders. I feel like we're in a similar thought process. Just a little bit of information as before Bennett gets into his super stat nerds about Quail Hollow and what it means. Wyndham Clark, I say this is a bomber's course. Rory's won here 3 times. And when I mean here, I mean actually at Quail Hollow, not 22 when it was in DC. 20, it was they had
Eagle Point, I think, right?
COVID. 17, it was in Wilmington because that's where the PGA was there. So I'm only talking about when it's played at Quail Hollow. Rory's won there 3 times. Homa has won there in 19, then did win in DC in 22. The Little B, Brian Harmon's won there. Ricky Fowler's won there. But Wyndham Clark last year, 19 under, tore the place up. Tore a new asshole. And Xander Schauffele was 4 shots back. Your first round leader was Tommy Fleetwood with 6 under with a 65. You have to go back to 21. The first round leader was lefty Phil Mickelson with a 64. And then 2 other first round leaders. Rory had a 66 and 19. And somebody by the name of John Peterson shot a 65 in 18. So you're probably looking in that 64, 65 range for the first round leader. Again, the tee time started at 11. Normally, I like to take guys who go off early. You call shenanigans on that, Josh, but I think let's just say 75% of the time, the first round leader comes out of the morning group. Is that fair?
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to matter this time because
this time, yeah, because of
it's going to be wet. It's going to be wet too. I mean, I think it's going to be pretty. If they even go off tomorrow morning like normal, so I mean it's going to 65 is generally the number. I could see a 62 or 63 coming out tomorrow if the conditions are as benign, as dark or as darty as you would think they're going to be after all the rain we've had.
All right, let's get nerdy now with Bennett. Tell us a little bit because we'll get into your top 20 picks. I'm sure you have some history for us, not only about those par 5 scorers, but those second shot. This feels like another one of those second shot courses. And of course, every time we talk to Bennett, it's because thanks to our friends at the Heister Automotive Group, heisterauto.com. You can give him a call, 919-524-3348. Maybe you do want to sell your car. Maybe you want to buy a car. I know, crazy idea. The Heister Automotive Group is there for you. So Bennett, anything good happening on the car sales front?
Good things are happening on car sales front. It is very funny that we did take a 2-week break, and I guess people actually do watch this and put my number in their phone because 2 people texted me and said, "Hey, can you shoot me top 20 picks?" Nothing about buying a car, but they wanted help with their DraftKings setup for the weekend last week. So I thought that was funny. Hit me up. I can give you top 20s. I can also give you a really good deal on a new or used car. We can buy your car. If you need to set up a service point, we can do that too. Happy to help any way we can.
Oh, I have a question for you on the car front.
Yeah.
So I've inherited a car and it has mice. How do we get rid of the mice?
Well, believe it or not, you could call your friends at you could call Hayes.
Call Hayes.
Hayes. But we actually, believe it or not, regularly see cars that have creatures in them for whatever reason. A lot of times when inherited, they've been sitting in grandma's house and they didn't know there was mice or ants or something. We actually have little bug bombs that go in there. And if it is a large animal like that, we will call someone and get them out safely. If it's small creatures, we have a way to terminate those small creatures, just like your friend Hayes does.
Got you. That's something that falls under your purview, though. You were the first person I thought of. I'm like, I think this thing needs to be on a lift. I think Bennett's people need to take a look at this. Send
it over.
Okay. All right, we're good. So heisterauto.com, 919-524-3348. 4-8. All right. So let's get into some nerd stats and then some top 20 picks for Wells Fargo.
Nerd stats this week are pretty simple. It's a Tom Fazio redesign, original design, ever how you want to call it, for Quail Hollow, which there's a lot of Fazio courses across the country that get played regularly on tour. They get major championship play, and they're basically all the same. They're Bombers courses. We've talked about this before. Just when you hear Bombers course, my caveat always goes with, usually people assume if you can hit your driver a long ways that you're a great long iron player, and that is not the case. There's very few people that are on tour that are really long, really straight, and really good with their long irons. And those are the players that dominate on tour. Those are your Rorys, your Scotties. Tiger in his heyday, that's basically what he did. So even as the courses get longer, in your second shot, your drives may be increasing, but your second shot is also increasing at a corresponding rate. That's how Fazio has basically, his courses have remained relevant, is he's been able to lengthen the courses, but keep them playable for all levels. So this is a major championship course, obviously has already hosted majors before, has hosted international competitions. So when you're picking your top 10s, 20s, and a winner, you don't want to be picking someone based on their putting, and you don't want to be picking someone based on, oh, yeah, they're really good around the green. Now, you got to have guys that are consistently 300 yards plus and are gaining strokes with their mid to long irons. Rory historically has played really well here. Justin Thomas has played well here, not on form right now. But, for example, the margins are slim here. We were talking about hockey off air, and playoff hockey's slim margins. When you play at major championship courses like this, you're looking for small pieces of the game where you can gain a stroke on the field. The person in the field that has the most experience strokes gained here is Rory, historically gaining over 2 strokes per round here, which is really, really good for a championship, major championship course. Some other players that you might hear on other, I guess podcasts or other places you're going to hear long players like Cam Davis, probably not for a winner, but that would be a first round leader type guy. I'm thinking this week it's going to play a little bit longer. Josh already mentioned it, because we're going to have rain the first 2 days. Saturday, Sunday look great. So if you went really, really nerdy into data golf world, you would actually want to be looking for your long carry players. Brian Harmon is someone that you wouldn't think is a long player, but his statistics look good because he can hit a low straight ball that rolls out nice. So you're like, how's that little guy hitting at 320? Well, he's really carrying at 290, and it's rolling out 30 yards. Corresponding, Rory carries at 335. So you want long carry players if you're looking for first-round leaders. This week, you may jump into top 20s.
Yeah, I got them popped up here.
Okay.
For you. So you tell me. I know a lot of times you like to play these safe. I think that's a pretty good strategy, because we're trying to hit a little bit of a scratch off with that first round and get some good value. But then top 20s, it's almost like let's cover our action a little bit by taking somebody who might be a little bit on the safer side, even if it costs us a little bit more on the money line.
It does. And this week, with a small field, let's remind everyone, there's only, I think, 68 players teeing it up this week. So it's going to be really hard to find quote unquote value. You have to go way down the board. But I feel like this week you want players in the top 20 that are top 20 players historically, but also have had consistent top 20s in majors. So before mentioned, Brian Harmon, he is a grinder type player. He's actually way down at plus 150. Last night he was. Let's see if he's moved today. Maybe he's moved in my favor today. Still at plus 150. Brian is a guy, we kind of think of him like as a tough course grinder. When you go to a course where the winning score is going to be 23 under, 24 under, you're probably not looking at Brian Harmon, but the average winning score here, I think, is minus 14. So you're going to have some guys go low on Thursday, and then by Saturday, the course will speed up on the greens. Those 1 and 2 under rounds on Saturday and Sunday won't be bad rounds out there. So he's plus 150. Brian's playing really well on tour this year, kind of sneaky playing well. He's 13th in total strokes gained, and he does gain strokes off the tee, which is big here. Secondly is one of our favorite players, and he is he to me is a miniature John Rahm, in that he's a big boy that has really, really good long iron player, He's actually plus 165, which I think is surprisingly low. Sepp Straka. He's a big boy. He compresses iron, so he can hit the 225 iron. It's not a problem for him. The over 180 iron play, he's actually 10th on tour. And frankly, it's kind of amazing that his long iron play is so good, because typically he's someone that's bombing it and has shorter irons in. So Brian Harman plus 150 and Sepp Straka plus 165. Last thing I like about Sepp is he stays in the fairway. And if it does get a little bit wet on Thursday, Friday, you're not going to want to be playing in the Tom Fazio rough come Saturday. You're going to want to be a fairway player.
All right, Josh, you have any top 20s? You want to move on to our winners or one and dones?
I do have a couple that I like. Well, it's funny. I have a couple that I want to talk about, but I was surprised with some of the love that we're seeing from like Jordan Spieth being plus 150. I mean, there's a bunch of, I don't know what you want to call it, but Spieth being plus 150. He didn't even make the cut last week at the Byron Nelson. I just think don't get fixated on the names. Golf is notorious for that. Will Zalatoris has a bad back, I think, or bad knee. He has something going on. I did like it was kind of a layup, but I do think he's my guy. Tommy Fleetwood, you're going to hear that name again in a little bit, but he's like -1, basically even money to make the top 20. I liked him this week. And then a little bit further down the board, just for a top 20, I liked Eric Cole plus 280. I thought there was value in it. There is 70 guys. You're only having to beat 50 to be in the top 20 this week. So just kind of going straight off of just kind of math in general like that. I like the plus 280. And heck, you're scrolling by Jake Knapp right there.
I mean, what in the world?
I mean,
plus
260. There's some decent value down the board.
And right. Taylor Pendrith. I mean, the betting this week, I really don't understand these odds.
Nick Taylor being a plus 320 for a top 20 is just, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff down there at the bottom that I would think there's some value down there.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that people need to remember is top 20s, you can get cut on them in terms of if there's ties. And so it becomes a little bit of it becomes difficult. That's why I don't like top 10s, because I know you see it and it's you can be seduced by it. Like, I jumped on Alex Noren last week, top 10, only because he's been playing out of his mind, and he's a really good player in Texas. And I think there are horses for courses in golf, and I'll just jump to my one and done pick. I don't know if he's going to win, but I am taking Rory McIlroy for my one and done pool this week, because I'm not taking him at Valhalla. I'm going to take John Rahm at Valhalla. I'm going to take Cam Smith at Pinehurst. So Rory's won here 3 times. He's been in the top 5 a bunch of times. He's going to play well here. I know he hasn't been on his game, but he's going to play well here. So I think, and again, this is one of those elevated events, a higher purse. So just as I used Scheffler and got a win out of him in one of these elevated events, you're not wasting the pick if they play well in the event in these larger purses. So that's my one and done pick. I don't know if you guys have a specific one and done pick, or you just want to do winners. Totally up to you, but I'm using my Rory bullet this week.
Go for a minute. I have to pull mine up.
Well, he kind of stole my thunder on my one and done. In my group, I got the receipts to show it before we started. Rory was my guy again this week. He's just this honestly, to me, feels like a Rory type tournament. He always seems to play well the week before he needs to play well.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah,
you're
he's
right.
Probably going to go shoot 16 under this week here, and then show up next week, and everyone's like, "This is it, Rory's back." And he shoots 2 over on the first day at Valhalla in the winning. Someone's going to shoot like 8 or 9 under the first day, and he's 10 shots back. Mm-hmm. So I also had Rory.
How much of y'all's plays are because there's no Scotty
this week?
Are y'all even considering the no Scotty effect and what he's doing to people?
Well, I'm with you though. I kind of like it when he's in the field because he helps the other players' odds.
Well, sure.
When he's not in the field, now we get a little bit more of a normalized number. And again, having the only 70 players or 69 with Oberg not playing, the way I look at it, and I love on DraftKings and other sites that they offer you you can bet to win without Scotty Scheffler. So I've kind of normalized Scotty. The problem with Scotty is when he wins. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you have no piece of him.
Ruins everything.
Yeah, you're not going to have any piece of him pre-flop because the number's stupid.
Yeah.
And then you really would need him to struggle on day one and be, 7 or 8 shots back and then get a piece of him. I think you might have done that, Josh, or maybe both of you did during the Masters when he finally popped to like plus 300 on that final day. But it's hard. And I will say the live line is definitely worth taking a look at after day one, after day two. I think we kind of texted last week about who's going to win this thing. And, Pendrith, I had Knapp a couple different ways. I cashed out. I felt good about it. I got money from him. I had Coles because he's from Dallas, and then I cashed out on him. And I ended up getting Pendrith at like plus 105 by the time he was down. So there's different ways to play. I just want to qualify the one and done is a season-long pool that you're in. That's why I'm not saying winner. Because again, Rory's value pre-flop here is stupid. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
All right.
I had to pull it up. Who we did? I'm going in with a buddy. We took Max Homa this week.
A homie. Yeah.
Course knowledge as well, but even though he did finish T3 at the Masters, so I'll give him that. But like he's trustworthiness in the majors and such, not quite there yet.
Other than California, if there's one course that you're going to trust Max Homa on, it's this one.
Yeah.
Again, winning there.
Wherever is the Fortinet tournament played in Cali as well?
Yeah, I mean, he only wins. Basically, him not winning in the U.S. Open last year, I'm still mad at him about. I'm not going to lie to you. Best value, though. You want to talk about value, RTP Mortgage. Josh Goodson, reach out. 252-361-1415. Josh, I know we're kind of in a holding pattern with some of these rates, but you know what's not going in the right direction? The cost of these homes. So it's worth having a conversation and figuring out what you can afford, because you can't sit around and wait for that rate forever, especially when the price of the homes keep going up and up.
Yeah. I always tell people when I have the conversation, especially if it's somebody, the first-time home buyer, that's the group the rates are hurting the most, because it's hard to talk to somebody who's renting for $1,500 a month and say, hey, you want to live in this house? It's $3,000 a month. But that's purely rate driven. When the rates come down, that'll get better, but it's still, the prices haven't gone anywhere. Very resilient market, really good market to be in if you're in the real estate market, and it's only going to get higher price when rates drop. So if you're okay with understanding the monthly payment's going to be what it is, start building equity, start building appreciation, all that stuff, because waiting you're not going to be able to do that if you wait. So.
All right, it's rtpmortgage.com, or again, you can give them a call, 252-361-1415, RTP Mortgage. All right, so let's get into our winner picks. These are our winner picks for the Wells Fargo Championship down in Charlotte. I'll let you start, Josh, with your winner.
I've told y'all, I want to be there when Tommy wins. Like, I just feel like I have to bet him constantly until he wins. Like, I need to see it, need to be there. But the fact that if the weather is how it is and it's as soft as it is, Tommy's not a go win it at 22 under kind of guy. Yeah. He's a guy that needs it to be a little bit tougher. So you'll probably hear me talk about him, Pinehurst potentially and such, potentially where it's harder, drier, maybe we'll see. But this week isn't the week, in my opinion, for Tommy. So I think it's like, don't reinvent the wheel. Go with somebody who's been there. The fact that Wyndham Clark, the dude has still showed up, man. Like some of the times when I look at his odds, especially when we get to the majors, he won the Wells Fargo last year. He then won the U.S. Open and backed it up. And since then, the dude just shows up every week. He's still there. I mean, I'm looking at the PGA Championship odds now. He's like, there's no reason he should be the same odds as Tyrrell Hatton. The market, I don't think, has picked up on him, and he continues to show up. He was in the battle, was it with Scotty at RBC?
Yep.
I mean, the dude, when the lights are on, he's showing up. So I like Wyndham Clark at plus 1,400 to win. Dude's probably been playing well over the last year. Second to Scotty most consistently, and especially when showing up when the lights are on. So.
Bennett, who you got as a winner this week?
One person that you previously mentioned, and I really, saying it now, I really hate this pick, but this is totally on vibes. This is not statistics based. This is vibes based. Ben on, and he's actually way down at plus 3,500, but he's playing well. He's a good driver of the golf ball. He is someone that he's got a lot of majors experience, so he's not going to be shied away if he's in the final, 3 groups on Sunday, and he's like with Wyndham and he's with Scotty. He's playing well. He knows how to play on tough courses. We've seen him perform well. Actually, both this course kind of reminds me of a mix between a traditional PGA Championship course and a U.S. Open course. And he's played well in both of those majors. He's never quite had that big breakthrough moment. But I could definitely see Ben on playing well. And you just pulled up his
4 top 10s this year.
Yeah, 4 top 10s. And his strokes gained statistics are all over the board in a good way. I mean, he's putting well. He's short game's good. He can drive the ball. He's long. He's straight. He's kind of one of those guys that we get hung up on. It's like, why? And there's a reason he doesn't. It's like, why don't you win? You watch him play and you're like, that guy should win. But that's part of it. You got to have someone that can do it on Sunday. So maybe that's this week. But my next pick, it's actually the same plus 3,500, is somebody that we've seen do it on Sunday, and is someone that's kind of transformed his game to be a long ball hitter, is Matt Fitzpatrick. He's plus 3,500. He's 12th in total driving. If it does become a driving fest, we've seen him be long and straight on, when the lights are the brightest. Wouldn't particularly say Fitzpatrick is on form, but we usually see sometime in the middle of the summer, he jumps up, whether it's the PGA, whether it's the British Open, we've seen that, US Open, where he comes out of nowhere and you're like, wow, that's a really good player. Maybe he's in 1 week too soon. And, if it does get wet, he's someone that can carry the ball a long ways. He's also a phenomenal top 10 in tour and over 200-yard iron play. So really good player. My bonus Canadian potential winner this week, Corey Connors doesn't strike us as someone that's a long ball player, but he has really, really good history here. Everything since 2017, which was the most recent redo. He's made the cut every time, finished 8th last year. And believe it or not, he actually gained 2 strokes off the tee last year, which tells you he's being straight down the middle 295 and taking his chances with the long irons. So that's your bonus pick of the week. He's plus 5,000. So that'd be a big winner there.
Yeah, my bonus is Cam Davis, 100 to 1. 100 to 1. I thought Josh would be proud of me for taking somebody with long odds.
Yeah,
so
like
yeah, I actually have Davis and I have Benny Anna, and I have Sepp Straka too, because I can't quit Sepp Straka. I feel like it'll be a low scoring week, and he's a guy who just knows how to get low and trade a little bit of paint. So that's those are my picks for this week. That's the group's picks, but can't let you guys leave without a little Dirty Myrtle action, a little dual event, a little dual week. We get the signature event in Charlotte, and then Myrtle Beach hosting the nameless, faceless Dirty Myrtle tournament. One of our favorites, our locals, is in there. You already mentioned them, Josh. I have a Cheston Hadley ticket for both first round and to win this thing. You have, and we will have early tee times, and presumably similar weather. But what do you have for us, first round leaders for Myrtle Beach?
I probably could have picked 30 guys.
I figured. This is a big one for you.
I'm surprised you didn't go down there to watch your guys play.
These are all of my hitters. I may add more to it, but just the ones that jumped off the page were Van Rooyen, 40 to 1, EVR. The dude's played well. He's hit me a first round leader ticket, I think, this year already in a bigger event. Andrew Novak, 5,500. I think he went to
CPC specialist, by the way, Andrew Novak.
He went to UNC Wilmington, I believe. So I wouldn't be shocked if he's played at Dunes Club down there. My guy, Sammy Valimaki, 60 to 1. Nico Echeverria, little 70 to 1, I believe.
Yeah.
We keep going down. Smothered and Covered. Smotherman at 80.
Yeah.
Tom Whitney, who I think you have recently texted, who is Tom Whitney? He's 110 to 1. The Schlong, Adam Long, 110-1, and then David Lipsky 110-1. But I'm serious. Like,
Two Glove Gainey, Tommy Gainey making an appearance.
I could have gone deep into this, but you gotta just chill out a little bit at some point. So
I showed some restraint. I had Chesson to win. I have Chesson in the first round, and I don't know who my other. Oh, maybe Justin Lauer.
Yeah,
was my other one. Justin Lauer.
like
Daniel Berger is one who's interesting. I know. Oh, there's Matt Wallace again. SH Kim played really well last week too. Berger is an interesting one, and that's a guy who obviously top 10 world-class player. He's had some back injuries. I thought he actually played pretty well last week, and now you got a little bit of that. He's got a little bit of that Ches Reavie, like, hey, Brendan Todd, like, hey, I kind of sort of need to play well right now to keep all these invitations and status and all this other stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Daniel Berger win this season, certainly if his back can hold up. So maybe worth taking Daniel Berger this week as well down at Myrtle Beach. Guys, we have the PGA coming up real soon, so it's good to get back on the horse. We got Pinehurst coming up in a couple of weeks.
There's a memorial snuck in there, I believe, right before Pinehurst, big signature event.
And the OG will be out at the UNC Health Championship, so I feel like there's some Corn Ferry action in our future as well.
Yeah.
You want to talk about some of your hitters, Josh?
Well, we can get some Champions Tour action on here.
Oh, geez. Only when you give us the inside information and you go play with them. That's how we know.
Yes.
It's our only chance. Again, DraftKings, our official betting partner here at the OG. Go check them out. Use that promo code OG24. Get bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets. And, of course, RTP Mortgage for all of your mortgage and home loan needs. And the Heister Automotive Group, HeisterAuto.com. Bennett Johnson is there, whether you want to buy or sell your car. Appreciate you guys. We will talk again. Heck, let's do it again next week. We'll be ready right here on the OG Gambling Syndicate.